Well, it only took them 70 years. What is going on, everybody? My name is Tyler. Welcome back to the official Nerd Talk channel. I'm here with my co-host AJ Reacts to. Today, we are giving you a movie review for Godzilla Minus One. This will be a non-spoiler review because personally, I want everybody to go experience this movie blind as possible. So please go see it. And if you have not seen the trailers, you want to go in blind, don't watch this review. Go see it and then come back. So, this movie is the 33rd Japanese Godzilla movie, I think. I think it's something along those lines. And it tells the story of Japan right after World War II, I believe. They're trying to rebuild themselves, and all of a sudden, this behemoth comes out of the water known as Godzilla and is causing chaos. And we follow a bunch of characters, but we mainly follow this soldier he was a kamikaze soldier, and he abandoned that, and he's trying to start a family, and he's also just he's trying to live his life, but he also still has like an insane amount of PTSD, and that's one of the main themes of the film. And
And
he
guilt.
also Yes, and he also goes to he gets a job on a boat getting mines from the water, and that's where Godzilla comes back, and we have our movie. So I was beyond the word excited for this movie. You know, I didn't really know that this movie was coming out. And then I saw the trailer for it once when I had seen a movie in IMAX. I forgot what movie it was. And they showed this trailer in IMAX. And I said, "Oh yeah, that's a given in IMAX." And luckily, thank you to AMC, I was able to see a early fan screening of this film in IMAX, packed theater. Um, and this is no question, in my opinion, the best Godzilla movie ever. Like ever. People will say, "Oh, the original's the best." No. This is the best Godzilla movie ever made. They did pretty much everything right. And it makes you question while watching this film, what has Hollywood been doing for the past 70 years with Godzilla? What have you been doing? It took 70 years for one person to gain $15 million to make this movie? It took you this long to realize what Godzilla fans wanted? I don't know. I absolutely love this movie. I was ecstatic, and I can't wait to see it again. This is easily top 5 of the year for me. But what did you think, AJ?
Um, you took the words right out of my mouth, man. It's fantastic. This is a fantastic film, and I think a lot of people might not see it because it's Japanese spoken with subtitles, but do not let that uh deter you from seeing this movie. And this movie deserves to be seen in the theater. It deserves it with the audio, the cinematography, like everything technically with this movie deserves to be seen in the theater. Takashi uh, Yamazaki, that's the director of this film. He was in his bag with this film.
He wrote the film as well,
He wrote the film. Okay, yes. So he
which is
wrote the film
insane.
too. He was in his bag all through and through because the human element to this film is like emotional. It has funny sequences. It's just kind of like a roller coaster. I cried twice in this movie. Crying at a Godzilla movie is like what? But it was so emotional, and like it just grabs you, and you cannot say that about pretty much any Godzilla film, like a Japanese spoken or um American. It's like there's such a disconnect with the the characters, the human characters, but here it was like it grabs you right at the beginning.
Yeah, and it's funny. I made the comparison while watching the film in this is weird way that it felt like a live action adaptation of a Godzilla anime in the sense that you had the characters and the camaraderie. It was really the camaraderie with the characters that made me feel like this is kind of like anime because you had the goofy characters and you
Hmm.
had them like a lot of humor in this movie, which was
Hmm.
surprising. But it works. It doesn't take
Yeah,
away from the tension. Like Godzilla's not about to eat somebody and then somebody makes a joke. No, it
yeah,
never takes away from what's happening, And I
hmm,
think all the acting across the board was fantastic. All the
fantastic.
emotional beats work. Um, I again the chemistry with the characters was great,
Hmm.
and I also really like the fact that when Godzilla is not there, I was not bored.
Hmm.
I was invested in everything that was happening,
Right.
you know.
Can't say
But
that about most Godzilla
you can't
movies.
say that about any Godzilla movie.
Right.
Um, but we're not here for the humans. We're here for Godzilla, and oh my God, is Godzilla a freaking beast in this movie? This man, bro, this man showed up 3 minutes into the movie and did things I never thought I would see Godzilla doing in my life. I said, "Holy shit!" And that wasn't even the. There is a scene in the second. Every action sequence with Godzilla is a standout of this film, as it should be.
Yes.
But the second act of this film, when it, when the big action sequence ends, my jaw actually hit the floor, and I was not expecting that. Without spoilers, Godzilla's atomic breath is quite literally atomic.
Not
It
even talking about the blast itself, but the charge up. When you knew what was about to happen, you didn't even know what was about to happen. But the charge up with like you see the end of his tail and it
spikes,
like
yeah.
pops out and like
Hmm.
goes, oh my god. I
And
said,
then
yo, let's
it goes back in,
go.
and
And
it just
the crazy sorry, real quick. The craziest one of the craziest things of my experience watching this movie is I'm rooting for the humans to take Godzilla down, but I'm also rooting for Godzilla to do his stuff too.
I walked into this movie. I was like, Godzilla, eat everybody. And by the end, I was, the by the end of the third act, I was like, yo, I would not be mad if they beat him right
Yeah,
now.
yes,
I would not
yes.
be mad about that, And it was just the movie just did such a great job of getting you invested in both sides. But Godzilla, man, this man shows up. Oh man, and he was in this movie for at least 45 minutes. He had to have been in the movie for at least 45 minutes. The movie's 2 hours.
Mhm.
I'd say the most downtime we had without Godzilla was in the beginning of the first act. Well, not the beginning, like the middle of the first act, kind of, and then towards basically the end of the second act after the big
The end
action
of the
sequence.
second act.
That was the most time we had without Godzilla. But again, it was interesting. It was engaging.
Mhm.
The CGI on him was incredible.
So good.
People ask all the time, where does the money go in these movies? You saw where the money went.
Yeah.
God's every single shot of Godzilla was on point. And I like the fact that they took what Shin Godzilla kind of didn't work at, which was his eyes. I feel like the eyes in Shin Godzilla were kind of goofy. In this movie,
Mhm.
you still see his eyes, but it
Yeah.
looks great.
It's
You know,
terrifying too.
I also like how Godzilla was actually destroying buildings. Like there's a part where
Mhm.
he's just like poof, poof,
Mhm. Yeah.
destroying buildings and all that. It was awesome, you know. And the third act was just amazing. It was a great third act. Um, if I had one negative with the film, it'd probably be the pacing a little bit towards the ending of the second act, a little bit.
That's
I was
my
like,
only issue.
yeah, come on, like,
Yeah.
all right, let's pick it up a little bit. But I got no other negatives. This movie was just it was a masterclass.
Yeah.
I walked out. I was like, yeah, bro. They if they never made a Godzilla movie ever again, if that was it, I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
And apparently, he wants to make a Star Wars movie too. Give it
Get
to him, bro.
get him on that. Get him on that
Give
for
it to
real.
him.
For real. For
But
real.
yeah, please go see Godzilla Minus One. It was absolutely phenomenal. One of the best movies of the year, the best
Yes.
Godzilla movie, period. And I hope it gets the proper eyes on it. I hope this movie makes bank beyond
Yes,
belief.
me too. Me too.
My final score for this movie is a 5 out of 5. Straight up. Like, this is incredible. And if I see it again, the pacing's probably not even gonna bother me. So
Right. Right. Another thing before we get out of here, I wanted to say is the design of Godzilla is a little different than what we got in Godzilla versus Kong, which is the last American Godzilla film. And I really enjoyed the changes that was made. Even though it's not by the same studio, obviously, but I really enjoyed the design of Godzilla. He looks terrifying. And just that atomic breath, like the charge up and everything, that was the standout for me personally. But my ending score, out of 5, I give it a 5 out of 5. Out of 10, probably a 9.5, because I did have a little bit of issue with the end of the second act, where they're kind of preparing for that third act. But it was fantastic, bro. I loved it. I loved it. I could not wait to get it home and watch it. I can't wait.
absolutely. If you guys have seen Godzilla Minus One, let us know down below how you felt about this movie. Is it your favorite Godzilla movie? Is it your least favorite Godzilla movie? Did you want the humans to actually live? Are you upset that Godzilla ate the people? I don't know. Let us know down below. And if you are not already, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell for all notifications for future Nerd Talk live streams. And we will see you on the next one, everybody.